I am prepared to state that I have been at locations where craft of unknown origin that did not originate on the face of this planet was there. I am prepared to state that while I was there, we saw living, dead bodies of entities that were not born on this planet. We had what they referred to as interfacing with those entities.
The men and women who are on this stage can prove that we are not alone.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty hush. I don't think I should talk about that.
The project was called the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, run by an official named Luis Elizondo.
I think this is a national security imperative.
This is the next big thing they want the public to be afraid of.
Have you not watched Unacknowledged?
What is Unacknowledged?
You gotta watch Unacknowledged.
What is that one?
Okay, you gotta watch Unacknowledged.
What is it?
You gotta watch Unacknowledged.
Things started to appear.
Like and share this video with everyone.
How do you keep something secret? You hide it in plain sight.
There were bodies that were involved with some of these crashes, also some were alive.
I said, well, you gotta tell the public about it. And he says, no, we don't tell the public about this. It would panic the public.
And you know, there's a new name. It's unexplained aerial phenomenon.
I'm a doctor in an ER taking care of shootings and stabbings and car wrecks. And I'm being asked to brief the CIA director on stuff because he and the president are being lied to? What?
And he said, by the way, we've discovered a base on the backside of the moon. And I said, whose?
If the average person knew that the term UFO was actually concocted after they knew that they were extraterrestrial vehicles or man-made anti-gravity devices, they would realize that for 60 years we've already had the solution to the environmental crisis, the energy crisis, and global poverty. The most dangerous thing going on the planet today isn't ISIS. It's not Iraq. It's not Russia. It's not China. It's a out-of-control, covert group that is not being overseen by the people, the Congress, or the president, who have developed these technologies and are recklessly using them to track and target extraterrestrial vehicles. The result of this is that we're in a crisis that is unacknowledged, ironically, because these projects are unacknowledged.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
There is no threat, and we have to prevent the weaponization of space.
So either they don't exist, but if they are, they're a threat. So this is the 1-2 punch that's been going on, unfortunately, for 60-some years. He said, do you know why they killed Marilyn?
Mr. President, the late Marilyn Monroe.
And I said, well, I didn't until I got this document. It's a virtual death warrant.
When they found out that Tesla had passed away, they came in, they had the manager of the hotel open the safe, and they took all of Tesla's papers.
Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, that's an urban myth or a conspiracy theory. I say, like the hell it is.
We need to come together as a human civilization so we can change this planet. Comment and share this video so we can get the truth out there.
This man came from another dimension. In July of 1954, a businessman arrived at the Tokyo airport in Japan. Everything seemed normal as he was going through customs. However, the customs officer noticed that his passport was issued from a place called Torrid, which simply did not exist. Upon further questioning, the authorities pulled up a map and asked the man to locate his country. Seemingly puzzled, he pointed to the Principality of Andorra, but claimed he had never heard of Andorra. Furthermore, the company he claimed to be representing, as well as the hotel he claimed to have a reservation for, had no knowledge of his arrival, despite the extensive documentation that the businessman had on hand. Feeling very confused, custom officials placed him under supervision at a local hotel for the night. However, the next morning the mystery man from Tarim disappeared, along with all of his documents that were under lock and key at the airport. That is why many people say that no one has actually been to outer space. There's a theory that we haven't ever been to outer space because of a transparent barrier that surrounds our entire world, and that past this barrier isn't open space or a vacuum, but water. Now, it all might sound crazy, but back in 1962, the US government launched a couple of nukes into the sky to allegedly test out the atmosphere's reaction to them. Or, that's what they want us to believe. But some say they were actually trying to see if they could crack that invisible barrier. Ironically enough, this program was called Operation Fishbowl. This theory is further speculated, as many have said that if you look at the stars with your own eyes, or zoom in on them with a camera, it seems to be twinkling or shining through a liquid-like substance. As rocket enthusiasts have observed, that rockets we have launched do seem to hit an invisible ceiling that causes a ripple-like effect that you would see in water, leading to a pretty strange theory that
The Anunnaki Final Warning to Earth and Their Return in 2022, 5th edition. Part 3. Sinhar Anbar Anati is an Anunnaki hybrid woman born on Earth of Anunnaki lineage, who married an Anunnaki Sinhar, traveled to Nibiru, Ashtari, and lived there for several years and studied the true history of humanity here on Earth as well as learning about life on Nibiru. Yes, they will be returning in 2022 according to Sinhar, and the decision they have made is now final based on the Anunnaki. Right here on this page, it talks about how the Greys are trying to take over Earth. Now, I also read some more comments, people are saying that not all Greys are bad. And I'm not saying that there aren't good Greys. I'm saying that based off of this book, most of the Greys that are referenced are trying to annihilate the human race. They're trying to take control of the human race. That is pretty much the main premise of this book, and it pretty much talks about how the Greys are, in general, the majority of the Greys are trying to take over Earth. Right here, it also talks about the radioplasmic belt around Earth. So, according to this, they want to isolate Earth from the universe. This belt can expand up or down and can affect missiles, rockets, or airplanes and blow them up. So on and so forth. Now, according to the book, this is going to all go down at the end of 2022. So November to December, somewhere around that time is when this stuff is going to go down. Now, do I believe that this is going to happen this year? Personally, honestly, guys, I actually feel like it may or may not happen. There's so many possibilities at this point. I can't really say that it will happen. All I can say is the information is in the book. If you're interested in reading the book, go ahead and get it. It is on Amazon. That's where I purchased it. The information in the book could definitely be proven wrong by the end of the year. If we don't see this happen by the end of the year, then yes, this can definitely be proven wrong. And then if you decide to purchase the book, it also will tell you whether or not you're going to be cleansed from the earth or whether or not you're going to New Earth.
It's back.
Okay, that thing, whatever the hell it is, came down really low. It was right over my head. It's like, within feet. What the hell is that? Oh my God. Okay. I'm just out here minding my own business. Filming out here at the space fence. And this thing swooped down. Okay.
Chlorine, fluoride, heavy metals, bacteria, and so much more. Why is it so important to the government that the water that we bathe in and drink is contaminated? People, movies, scientists, TV shows, have all made claims about the power of water. I bet this scene went right over your head.
I want to know what happened to them.
The water is literally showing her. A doctor named Masaru Emoto exposed this, that when frozen, you can see the messages and memory in water. You can also change the molecular structure of water with your intentions and emotion. And let's not forget that water can be portals. Everything that you see that they put out, they're not showing it for no reason. Every time in Stranger Things where Eleven wanted to see into different places and travel, she would have to be in water. I mean, just think about it. If water holds memory, and water has been on Earth for millions of thousands of years, imagine how much information water carries. Water is in all humans. It connects all the continents together. Everybody remembers the Egyptian saying, as above, so below, right? So if below water connects us to everything, then we have to say the same thing for the universe. My theory that space is the ocean can back this up. Our tap water being contaminated is definitely deeper than the surface. I mean, why is it so hard to have clean, natural water? They gotta put it in our face without telling us. Our restrictions from good water is not just for no reason. It's time to recognize the real. Boil your water. I do not care if it's purified or bottled. We need to get to this information. And yes, the blinds are closed because you know how they is. Open your eyes to the real and stay dangerous.
Within seconds, the shark tag recorded a dramatic temperature shift from 46 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. A temperature that could only be achieved inside the belly of another living animal.
The question that not only came to my mind, but everyone's mind who was involved was, what did that? It was obviously eaten. What's going to eat a shark that big? What could kill a 3-metre great white?
The tag recorded 78 degrees for 8 days, moving between the surface and a depth of 330 feet before it was released. There was no doubt the seemingly indomitable shark alpha had been attacked and eaten by a super predator of the deep.
I'm starting to believe that ancient people had advanced technology. Let's take a look. Well, for once, they created architecture that still puzzles scientists to this day, such as the pyramids of Giza. All we have is theories, but we have no idea how they did it. Even with our modern tech, we don't know how to replicate what they did. Ancient people worked with difficult stones such as granite, one of the hardest materials on Earth. They created amazing architecture and design that almost looked 3D printed. They created huge bronze statues such as the Colossus of Rhodes, which is 108 feet. This site is known as Pumapunku in Bolivia. To this day, these stones puzzle scientists. These stones in Pumapunku in Bolivia are having archaeologists and scientists scratching their heads. They say that it's absolutely impossible creating these structures with hammer and chisel. The only way to make this is with power tools, advanced technology. So much for the ancient people being primitive. Maybe we're the primitive ones. They even have drill holes that don't look man-made, but made with some type of advanced power tool. Their structures have stood the test of time, while our newly built roads can't even last a few years. Now the question is, what happened to them?
Link in bio for more interesting topics on my YouTube. Subscribe.
There's a mind-blowing conspiracy theory about the world ending in 2025. 3 years from now. 5 days ago, on June 3rd, during the French Open semifinals, a female protester invaded the court and tied herself to the net. And she was wearing a white t-shirt that read, "We have 1,028 days left." If you count 1,028 days from June 3rd of 2022, you'll get the date of March 27, 2025. Here's the crazy part. It coincides almost perfectly with the end of a Yuga cycle known as the Kali Yuga. Every single major religion in every culture has its own apocalyptic event, right? The Norse mythology has Ragnarok and the Bible has the Apocalypse of John, for example. In ancient India, the Kali Yuga is considered the age of darkness, and it just so happens to be the same age that we all currently reside in. It's a period where moral virtue and mental capabilities are at an all-time low. We humans descend from a state of spiritual perfection and material abundance to one of ignorance loss and scarcity, with men and women losing touch and distancing themselves from spirituality and from the divine, and with diseases, natural calamities, anguish, anger, and fear of scarcity dominating our existence on this planet. It's a period of 2,700 years that started in 676 BC and ends in 2025. According to the Hindu tradition, the age of the Kali Yuga is comprised of materialistic people who are only concerned with the empirical aspects of reality, and their relationships with the spiritual realm is entirely governed by superstition and skepticism. Greed and wrath will motivate world leaders to feud amongst themselves. People will completely ignore the science of reason and become blinded by their own emotions, and leaders will deceive and guide the population towards falsehood and complete and pure darkness. So what if the French Open protester wasn't just addressing climate change? What if she also unintentionally gave us an accurate doomsday countdown clock for the exact day and year for when the entire human species will cease to exist?